All right, let's see. Maybe a Grand Lich is taking over the town, all in a mad dash to take that special gem from the royal family, the source of the kingdom's power. No, it's not good. All right, I have another one. Don't worry, we're going to keep on moving on. What about a mind flare that's slowly infecting the townsfolk who are a religious community, all in an effort to reduce the amount of worshippers that the city's god has, enough to weaken. No, it's bad too. No, it's fine. We're going to rip that out. That's all right. No. How about the war between two neighboring dragons and your party's caught in the middle and you have to choose a side, and eventually it leads to an elemental catastrophe that opens a portal to... Nope, this all sucks. So, these all amazing ideas, abandoned, canceled, finished without even ever seeing the light of day, because above table, we're talking about some recent canceled TTRPG projects.
Oh. That's sad. Now I'm bummed. Want to play all those.
I will never use these in Vintier. I literally
he added in Vintier.
I had to put a little bit of an asterisk. I was thinking of some things that would be really, really fun to play in, but I was like, they are part of the theme here. Canceled. Yeah. Not happening. Hello, players, DM, TTRPG enthusiasts to above table. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I dislike the standard D4s. They are deadly weapons that can kill you. And they're also hard to read, which is why I prefer the diamond-shaped ones. Those are way better. Changed my mind. We're talking
wait. Before we move on, if you do have the traditional pyramidal D4, do you want the number to be at the point or at the base?
Base.
Because you can do it either way. The base?
Base.
Yeah.
I'm used to the point, but mine also look like they could shank you when you hold them.
Yeah, they're very, I think the first ones I ever had from like the D&D starter kit I got in the 90s, it was at the point. So everything else has always felt wrong to me. Having it at the base has felt wrong.
No, because it's arbitrary, one of the things you roll, like when you're playing D&D, I think, especially when it comes to physical tables, you roll, you look down, and depending on the color scheme you have to like pick it up like a crane game and then go, okay, hold on. Let's see.
That is a thing.
What is it? Okay, that's a 4. Got it.
I think there's multiple times where I'm in Vintier and I say, what the hell is that? To look at it.
Which is why I like these diamond ones. They're way better. By the way, this is an Artificer DM diamond. There's a... Probably you missed out. There was a giveaway.
Griffins, what? It's Griffin's Nest?
Griffin's Nest, yeah. Made by the Griffin's
Trying
Nest.
to give them a Polygon's Griffin.
Oh, yeah. They made some good dice. Canceled projects that are happening within TTRPG space. Right now, we're recording this in June 27th, so by the time this releases, this may be a little bit older news, but in case you missed it, there was one of 5 Wizards of the Coast, projects that were in the works. We talked about this off camera, but Nick is currently drinking the 1990s Ghostbusters high C drink that's been discontinued. Once again, keeping in theme.
I wish. That'd be great.
I don't remember. I kind of remembered if it was good. I don't know.
Everything like that is good when you're a kid. But no, this is a Herbert West's D-Animator. It's a cocktail from some Lovecraft-themed cookbook thing.
Is Herbert West a reference to the actual movie? Or because I know the movie's based off the book.
Yeah, the Reanimator is based off Lovecraft's story. And so this particularly is supposed to look like on the poster for Reanimator, he's got the syringe that has the glowing green. This is supposed to look like that. But yeah, this is the D-Animator.
Very cool. Yeah. So from my understanding is that TTR of Wizards of the Coast was working with like 5 different avenues to make games. Obviously, I think one of them was Larian Studios for Baldur's Gate 3. One of them they were working with the developer Hidden Path Games, and they sort of announced this collaboration back in 2021. So 2 years prior to the release of Baldur's Gate 3. Hidden Path Games. I wrote down what they're known for, which kind of blew me away. They're known for CS:GO, which I can't find that. And I know it's been discontinued because of CS2. Mm-hmm. But still, you think there'd be more mentioned of them? I don't know. Is that true? I guess it's true. Why would they lie?
What we found.
Feel
free to fact check yourself.
Please do. They're also known for Age of Empires 2, but they've also done kind of less than notable work, which I have a little summary of: Access Code and Hypercade and Raccoon Lagoon. So kind of middleware, definitely sort of less focused on AAA stuff. But then again, they were developing some pretty high stuff back in the day. But regardless of what I would kind of consider a less than pretty stellar background, but not like something that they were singing home to, they were still developing this D&D game that, if you saw the video, it looks good. It actually looked really good. It was almost like an action RPG game, where it was less of Baldur's Gate 3, where it wasn't like turn-based. It was very much, you're running around swinging a sword. Maybe you're a spellcaster and you're flinging spells. It'd be great to watch the 5-minute demo reel that they had, but they took it down. As I mentioned before, I was watching the video and getting this all prepped for a recording session today. It's June 27th. This morning I was watching the video. This evening, it's gone.
Yeah, because they're trying to like take it all down, because people were saving like the videos or clipping it and like trying to save it and then send it to people to do like videos on it.
They had a cutscene that had like a bunch of like different D&D races, and they were talking together in front of in a tavern, and it felt like a D&D moment where everyone's talking about random BS. And I was like, I like this. It's very humorous. It didn't take itself very seriously, and it had very much the same emotion that you would get from a standard D&D game. But it's no longer here. They canceled it. Project Dante is what it was called. I have theories of what that's referencing to. But it was a puzzles, cinematic, live action attack game. But it's gone now, which is unfortunate, because for Hidden Path, they were, it seemed like a lot of like mobileware. This would have been big. And then they had to do 44 layoffs?
Yeah, that's what I seen.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's bad time to be in game development, very sadly. Looking at it, it looks like they did a lot of work with Valve because they were located near them, so they were a supplemental studio to them. So that's how they got a lot of start. I'm seeing that on this unannounced, or the canceled game. I'm looking up the writer, Whitney Beltran, who is known for she's known for the TTRPG Bluebeard's Bride, which is a creepy indie horror RPG that I've read through and seems very cool. Says that she also worked on State of Decay 2.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. She wrote in Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, the 2021.
Okay.
book.
Yeah.
So she clearly knows her stuff. So if you were liking some of the writing, and I wouldn't be surprised if you comes back to
what was her first name?
It's Whitney Beltran. Whitney Strix Beltran.
Whitney, you probably know one of our friends. Shout out to Heather, who also works at State of Decay.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. It's a small world.
Yeah, but I don't know. I didn't play the most recent Dragon Age, even though I really liked all the old Dragon Age games, because it became an action RPG, which is not really what I want. But I also think that there's no way you can make a tabletop Dungeons and Dragons turn-based Baldur's Gate style if you're in the shadow of Baldur's Gate. I think that's also a losing proposition. So I'd rather you try to do a action or crazy FPS using, spells and weapons from D&D. I think that would be really cool. I don't think those games are likely to I would not be shocked that those all get canceled instead of released.
Yeah. It's funny. It could have gotten what I would call the Fallout treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Where definitely different feel until number 3 came out. Which kind of leads me to a question that just because the way you were talking about it. Do you prefer the newer Fallouts? I mean, after 2, or are you more of an OG Fallout fan?
I mean, I have played and really liked all of them except for 76. I didn't bother with 76 because I don't play Fallout to play an online game. But I liked all of them. I played the original 2, the Black Isle top-down ones. I played all of those games, like the original Baldur's Gate and everything else. I really liked that. I generally like turn-based stuff, so I think if the first-person Fallout didn't have VATS and didn't have the ability to freeze time, I would have really hated it. But the fact that it had that made it still feel like tactical and accessible in a way I wanted. I wanted to be able to like strategize and plan in Fallout, so that was fine that it was first person.
Like
and I do think
like feeling.
Yeah, if I had to pick one forever, I think I would go with the modern one, just because then you do get the Skyrim like. That's better for exploring a big open world. I think it's asking a lot to do like a big open world, but you're like top-down isometric view. Those games had their day, and they can still make good ones. And like Baldur's Gate 3 kind of does that, but it's not really an open world.
Yeah.
But I think Fallout is like, here's a big chunk of the wasteland, go explore. I think that fits better with first person.
That might work for D&D. Amber knows the experience of Fallout because you've seen me. You watched me play it.
I didn't play. I was like, that's just like your favorite game.
I put hours into Fallout. It's gross. I would feel comfortable playing a D&D character in Fallout because there's you could hot map like different abilities and things like that. That'll work.
Yeah, I mean, Skyrim works. Oblivion works.
That's right. Yeah.
That's basically just first person D&D. There's not a significant difference between that and first person D&D. So, yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, so this is a story from Amber and I when we got invited to the VGAs.
Oh yeah.
And it was very embarrassing because it was when Fallout just came out. It was hot. Everyone was talking about it, but I didn't buy it. I wasn't. I think I was still like a poor kid or something like that. I wasn't a kid. I was,
You were a poor adult.
I was a poor adult. Anything beyond 5 years, I'm a kid. No, but I was poor, and so we got invited to the VGAs, and we're sitting next to like people of industry, and the only reason why we got tickets to the VGAs is because we won a contest.
We went to some event, and that was their thing that they were giving away.
We went to Film Masters, or it was some sort of film, like it was like independent content creator film festival, and we won. I got a ticket, and I won tickets to the VGAs. And so I'm sitting next to these guys, and we're talking about something, me and Amber, and then we turn to them, and they're talking to me, and I go, well, hi, I just was very open. I was like, I won this contest. And they're like, oh, cool. Well, hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm from Bethesda. And I went, oh, great.
Nice.
Cool. And they were like, yeah.
All I remember
almost like fishing for me to be like, someone to be like, I like your games, and I was like, I don't know anything, because at that point I wasn't focusing on the industry.
You knew creators there though, like knew their work and stuff.
Well, no, that was the filmmakers. I knew the filmmakers.
Yeah.
I was not in the industry at all. That kind of what awakened my sort of experience and desire, because after they were like, yeah, we made all these great games, and I was like, oh, never played it.
That's funny.
It was embarrassing, and then later on I loved them, and now not sure about them. So that's how game developers are.
The only thing I remember about that thing was they had no offense, no shade on Dr. Pepper, not my thing, but I remember they like one of the sponsors was Dr. Pepper, so you could not have any other mixer with your drink unless it was Dr. Pepper, and I was just like, I don't like
the worst thing, it wasn't regular Dr. Pepper, this. It was Dr. Pepper Zero.
Like, yeah, it was like their new launch, and I was just like,
okay.
If you love Dr. Pepper, good for you. It's just that I didn't want it to be the mixer in every drink.
I also, as he takes a swig from his own cocktail.
Dr. Pepper Zero.
But it's unfortunate. I know when it comes to, Nick, you know this better than we do. That when it comes to game development, it definitely is. It's very volatile.
It's been an industry with ups and downs, but I think like most people agree, this is like the worst time to be in game development in the modern era, since like the video game crash of the 90s or whatever. This is like the worst time. Everybody's laying everybody off. There's no stability. There's very few like original ideas out there. I mean, no, that's not correct. There's tons of original ideas. They're all tiny indie games that mostly don't make any money. You cannot make a living with most of these, unfortunately. The big studios are laying everybody off, and there's no stability. There's so many stories of like launching a big hit game and then you were laid off like 1 week later because that's capitalism.
There's so many indie devs who are trying to be the next Five Nights at Freddy's or Undertale. They're trying to be like the next Poppy's Playtime, these sort of these series games that actually do make money. Because I believe if you're making a sequel and a trequel or a trilogy, you are making at least some capital enough to like do it again.
Yeah, I think maybe even being an indie is, it's not that it's better, but it's like it used to be that if you had a job at one of these big studios, that was the goal.
Yeah.
Right? You get a job at one of these big like Microsoft-owned studios or whatever, and that was your stability that you would have. But that seems to have gone completely out the window, which really sucks. This game, doesn't seem like it got super far along. But yeah, it's another story of like layoffs. Maybe it was going to be the greatest thing ever, the Skyrim 2 or whatever, but now we won't know, right?
Well, it's funny that now we're talking about like layoffs or at least people leaving, because I called this. I'm going to put myself on the pedestal here because I called it that when it comes to Wizards of the Coast, because again, we're kind of still talking about the concept of Wizards of the Coast sort of canceling all these projects. They lost Chris Perkins, and they lost what's his other name? Jeremy Crawford. And my theory at the time when we did that recording, that they were going to move over to Critical Role and help out with Darrington Press. And not but a month later did the announcement go off. And the problem is that this is recorded so much far in the future that if people are going to be like, no, you didn't.
He did.
Yeah, that happened weeks ago. We knew that. Yeah.
I knew it.
It made logical sense for them to go over there. And then Chris Perkins, I think, actually had been on the show a couple times as like a little like guest player. So it, like you knew the relationship had been there. So it's just like
there was one content creator that kind of shifted my thought process on that, because even during the time of Jeremy Crawford and Chris Perkins, people were still talking bad about Dungeons and Dragons. Like there was still that portion of people are like, it's tanking, let's go somewhere else. This is bad, it's bad. It doesn't matter if they're having like interviews, it doesn't matter, like whatever they're producing here, it's not good. So there's this one content creator, and I don't remember his name, but I saw it today where he was like, why is everyone praising this? Like, okay, now Daggerheart's gonna be so good. It's like they were creating content that people were disliking.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you thinking that they're bringing now the A game? But there was that sort of shifted me going, oh, that's true. But then again, I have been on the other side of, boy, this company's really draining me. Even though I have all these creative ideas, I'm getting a bunch of no's.
Yeah.
This is what I can do with the amount of tools they've given me.
I would think so, because I mean, no offense to Wizards or offense to Wizards if you're whatever side you're on there.
We don't know. Let's not burn the bridge too hard. We're just
No, I'm just saying, like, I mean, we all know that because we've all worked in the corporate world. Sometimes the no is not you. The no comes above you, and too bad, so sad. So it's like, I don't even think that the comments are really aimed towards them. It's like they could have presented something that we never saw, and it was like, well, this is what came out because that's what they wanted to publish.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, I think that it's not an incorrect impulse to say most of the stuff we don't like about this big product is probably the corporate fault rather than the individuals. And these individuals like were on streams and podcasts and things like that. You got kind of a glimpse into how they behaved. They answered questions on social media. They did seem to have a lot of understanding of the game and the community. I'm sure they made choices that, not everybody would agree with. But if what Daggerheart represents is like an RPG product that can really catch on and get a critical mass of players, that does some modern things differently, and they can bring in two people who have a lot of experience building the most popular role-playing game in the world.
Yeah.
But they don't have to deal with the same level of corporate bullshit. Then I think there's reason to be like optimistic that they could have more of a positive impact in that realm, potentially.
Yeah.
That not everybody's gonna like what you do, regardless of how much corporate is involved or how much you're involved. It's like you're not gonna be everybody's cup of tea. So there's gonna be some kind of something, some kind of comment.
For sure.
It's definitely the earworm of this little mind virus if someone was like, well, you didn't like their stuff before, why are you liking it now? But it really shook me to the core for a while until I had to sit down and go, yeah, but you're not the boss.
Yeah.
There's a person ahead of you that is not on the ground floor, who doesn't know what they're talking about.
And you see that all the time, though, like a brand shift. They were this way and now they're this way because whoever changed hands or whatever whatever the thing is.
Well, speaking of of shifting to other TTRPGs, and we're still in the theme of canceled games, there was a full announcement that there was and I didn't even know it was in the works, but apparently there was a Tomb Raider RPG that was in the works that is now dropped. And Nick, it sounded like you did a lot more research than I did, which is finding out like the system it was utilizing.
Yeah, it was going to be Forged in the Dark, so Blades in the Dark adjacent kind of rule set, which I think is fine. It's a good rule set.
It is.
There's probably already 5 or 6 kind of Tomb Raider-y games, because the basic Forged in the Dark rules are like free for anybody to adapt. So people have made everything. There's superhero versions, there's sci-fi versions, there's everything Forged in the Dark. Yeah, the Tomb Raider one, it was going to be from Evil Hat, which is the big indie publisher behind games like actual Blades in the Dark and all that. Sounds like they lost the license to Tomb Raider specifically for whatever weird corporate reason, but they're still going to move forward with the game as of like the most recent news, and just like, strip the labels off and just make it like an archaeology adventuring kind of game. Which I think
they can find branding. Yeah, I mean, they don't have to have an IP around it, but they can make it sound interesting, like, Lost Worlds or something along that lines.
Yeah. I think like the only advantage of the branding is like some people will pick it up if they really love Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
But we were talking about it a bit before the record, but like, what does the Tomb Raider world bring to you? If you're not playing as the Tomb Raider, what is so special about this that you want to play an RPG in that world? I don't know.
Yeah, you want to be Lara Croft's friend.
I don't want to be the butler after Nick explained it to
me. Yeah, it's a butler that gets shot all over her house all the time. It's like, if you're going to play a superhero game, I understand why you would want to play the official DC one or the official Marvel one. Mm-hmm. You can meet the official versions of characters, interact with them, and you like know the rules of that multiverse, right? But who cares about the Tomb Raider world? Like, there's dinosaurs, there's magic, there's all kinds of stuff. Like, whatever, you can do that in your home game. I don't think the Tomb Raider, like, I've played some of the games, and I don't think I've seen the movies. It's not unique enough to be its own thing, technically. Yeah, it's nothing. There's nothing to that, right?
Tomb Raider is supposed to be very much like Uncharted and Indiana Jones. You're there for the main character to go through an adventure. You don't need to live in this world that can be anywhere.
Yep. Here's games off the top of my head I would rather play an RPG based in. Resident Evil. Death Stranding, which I haven't played any of the games, but I know enough about the world that there's something there, right? There's like a cool hook to that there.
I don't
like post-apocalyptic delivery man game.
Is Death Stranding the one with the baby?
Yes.
Yes, the baby.
That's all I remember.
They just released the sequel on that one. Yeah, like that's another one. Like any generic like JRPG or whatever. I've never really cared about Final Fantasy, but you tell me there's an official Final Fantasy tabletop RPG, I get it. Why you want to play there. I don't get it. It'd be like saying you're gonna play the Gran Turismo tabletop RPG. It's like, who cares? It's just cars. Just, you don't need a label for that. Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait for the next Motor Racer RPG.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, like if you were gonna do that, and like if you're gonna make an archaeology RPG, I'd almost rather you don't have a license to work from, because then you'll make a game that's good and interesting, and you don't feel stuck with what does Tomb Raider feel like.
Mm-hmm.
You'll make it like, what is a good archaeology game? Because I do think it's interesting, like, would any of the characters have magic abilities? I don't know. Are they all just versions of Tomb Raider or Indiana Jones kind of thing?
Well, let's see. You have a
researchers,
hunter,
right?
Let's see. They have an image. Yeah, they have some like test images. We'll see what this means. You're a
it's
hunter.
Like one class is just called the Tomb Raider, and then there's everybody else. Yeah.
The crafter.
Okay.
One of them, not even kidding, is called the companion.
Yeah.
You're Lorecroft's friend.
The change says, I have touched the unknowable, and the unknowable touched me back. You need to know. That's bad writing.
Yeah, I think definitely this needs some work. It needs a little bit more time in the oven. I like this idea though, Nick, of like pitching other worlds that would, from a game, because this is based off Tomb Raider, that would work better. BioShock.
Mass Effect, which I think there is a tabletop RPG, but I said when the Star Wars prequels were announced, when Disney bought Star Wars and the sequels were announced.
The extended universe I would love to play on.
Yeah, it's like Disney bought them, we're making 3 more. I said at the time, I would love no more Star Wars forever, and a fraction of that money go to make one good Mass Effect movie. Because I think there's so much more to be done with the Mass Effect world. Then, like, we do not need more Star Wars. We have enough Star Wars. We've got it. But that's not how anything works or whatever. But, like, yeah, I would much rather there be... And it's not like Tomb Raider... I mean, they've had a ton of games. I wouldn't say it's overexposed. I just don't think it has, like, a big hook. The hook is the fun gameplay of the games.
Yeah.
Right? Some games, like Death Stranding or Resident Evil, you can say the hook is, like, the world and the lore. But do people really feel that way about Tomb Raider? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't. I was looking up the last new release, not remaster, because goodness me, there's so many. Let's break that down. The newest release that they had was back in 2018. So we're a little late for a Tomb Raider RPG. Beyond that, 2023, 2024, 2025, you had the Lara Croft Collection, Tomb Raider 1 to 3 remaster, and Tomb Raider 4 to 6 remaster.
Yeah, and I don't imagine it's going to be super based on like the 2018, even though the modern ones were pretty popular. I think the feel of those were different than the classic Tomb Raider. You were very like overpowered in the classic Tomb Raider, and the modern ones were like you were learning. There was a lot of survival mechanics, and like getting injured was a big part of it, which I think like a survival, like modern era survival tomb exploring kind of game.
Yeah.
Where there's like graphic injuries that you have to manage, and like food and water and crafting bows and arrows. Like, sure, there's definitely something there. I don't know if it doesn't need to be Tomb Raider for sure. Like doesn't need that on it.
I would,
but it's why they do everything, because people will sell more because of it.
Because they got the license for a good deal, and they're like, we have to make something out of it.
And then got the license lost.
And then it was like, nah,
that's insane. I don't know the backstory of that, but like, what are you gonna do with this Tomb Raider license in the TTRPG space if not have Evil Hat make a version of it?
I would love an Alan Wake. System. I think
Alan Wake, Control, the whole Remedy universe.
That would be really
crying
fun to
out
play.
for you could easily do it. There are systems that would work really well for that. Delta Green could go into that world.
But if they had some love put into it from like the first party, like they know their world so much better than we do or any other third party. I think if they actually put a portion of their team to be like, okay, now let's go and craft, because I mean, Control was literally like the FC whatever it's called Foundation. where it's like you can literally just spend the entire TTRPG in the facility, it was, I think, the lone house or whatever, the old house.
Yeah, the oldest house.
You could spend an entire campaign dealing with, I think it was OPs or whatever they're called.
Objects of power,
Objects of power.
Yeah, it was the SCP Foundation mixed with a few, like, X-Files and a few other things. But yeah, 100% Control. I would be way more interested in a Control tabletop RPG or Alan Wake. Like, ones that are focused on individual characters, I feel like are maybe challenging, and that's the problem with Tomb Raider. Because if you take Lara Croft out of Tomb Raider, what is Tomb Raider? Right? And so it's like, if you take Alan Wake out of Alan Wake, I still think there's interesting stuff in the world.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what, like, Control is in the same world. And I guess Quantum Break or whatever that other game was.
Oh, we don't talk about that anymore.
Yeah, we don't talk about it.
The
Same world, but we don't talk about it. Yeah.
Licensing doesn't work. Amber, I know in terms of the gaming industry, I know you have a bit of a finite sort of experience when it comes to the game industry. Do you have a game that you would pitch for a TTRPG?
I feel like it's going to be horror themed because it's me.
It has to be.
I don't know. I can't remember the name of the freaking movie, and you made me watch it, and I was like, oh, this is actually good.
Oh.
Silent
Where,
Hill?
like, they go out to the forest, and it's like, it's not the symbol or I can't think of what it's called.
Do you remember the plot of the movie?
Vaguely. The guy's, like, remembering, like, he doesn't really remember, like, a tragic event that happened into his life. And then, like, he keeps seeing, like, flashbacks into it, and they go on this, like, trip into this forest, and then there's, like, this crazy cult with the creature and everything.
You're talking about Blair Witch.
No, I'm not talking about Blair Witch.
Oh, you're not?
Are you talking about the Ritual?
Yes.
Ritual, I don't believe is based on a game, but that movie does rock.
Yeah. No, I was thinking movie because I was like, that would be interesting to play because then you'd have to, like, describe your own flashbacks and stuff while you're dealing with, like, essentially the chaos.
Oh, that would be a good mechanic.
Because we do that in Blades. Like, it's a flashback, but it's like, you know, it's downtime, so it's a little shorter.
Yeah. Imagine if the GM had the power to control your flashback.
Yeah.
So, like, you set up, like, okay, the GM's like, okay, well, can you give me, like, a base of what you think your flashback would be about? You know, like, because of whatever scenario you're in that causes you to have the flashback. The player hands you the pieces, and then the GM goes, great. Then aliens show up in your flashback, and you're starting to remember that. The Evil Within, too, I think would be really fun to play on.
Evil Within, yeah. There's so many games with really cool world building and lore that I'm like, yeah. I mean, just thinking about that question that you asked Amber, like, I would be interested in a Super Mario tabletop role-playing game. I would be interested in a Sonic the Hedgehog tabletop.
I mean, they have Mario
game.
RPG that it's obvious it could work.
Yeah, and I do it without, like, doesn't have to have a plumber in it or whatever. Maybe you're someone else from our world that goes to the Mushroom Kingdom or whatever and has to explore and, like, get powered up or whatever. Like, that is cool. Like, I would for sure, and I would be very interested to see how that gets adapted to the tabletop space, right?
I would say Zelda, but I feel like D&D is just Zelda. Like, you could just manipulate it to be Zelda-ish.
If you made it official, then you could have official stats and rules to, like, replicate the Zelda experience. That one's, like, it's closer to what we already have, but yeah, for sure.
So there's a game called Oba, I'm going to butcher this, but it's like Obagium or Obagiam or...
Mm-hmm.
Put in the chat, maybe we'll pronounce it.
No, here, I got it. Don't worry. Watch, it's going to happen. Abajima.
Okay.
And Abajima, it is like the Tales from the Tall Grass. It is, if you look it up, and I'll sort of drop it here in chat, but essentially it is very much of like modern D&D meets Zelda. It's been promoted a few times, but it actually looks really, really good to sort of get that Zelda vibe.
Okajima?
Also, if we're doing a Mario RPG, I definitely call Bob Hopkins. I want to be him, please. I don't want to be John Leguizamo. No, thank you.
I'll be Chris Pratt.
You're pulling from... You go new.
Oh, I laughed too hard at that one. I'll be Chris Pratt.
I want to be Dennis Hopper.
Yeah.
I would love to run, like, like a Sonic RPG, I think would be great. And they did do that for like a handheld game, which would obviously I need to see that an RPG is possible. Yeah, but also it wasn't good. So
I don't know enough about the rules, and I know that like Slug Blaster, like which is a Forge in the Dark adjacent game, right? And there's a lot in it that is about like being a teenager or whatever that wouldn't really work for Sonic, but there is also a lot of like rules for stunts and speed and like doing cool stuff that I feel like could work in a Sonic style game, right? Doing a cool run and combos and like building up your speed, your momentum or whatever. Like there's definitely something there.
I think last thing I would pitch that I think would work, it would work if it wasn't for the fact that the villains, the GM would have to play as these people. Was it Wolfenstein?
Oh, yeah.
I think Wolfenstein, it's an interesting concept that I don't think would be explored because of the villains. I think because you would have to definitely start to present the villain side, obviously as an antagonist to get crushed, but no one wants to play as the no-sees.
Yeah, nobody should want to anyway.
Yeah,
we've talked about Eat the Reich before, the your heroic vampires just killing Nazis and everything. So, that's something. But yeah, Wolfenstein is I feel like first-person shooters, it's like so much of it is the shooting more than the world. Some of them have worlds I would want to do TTRPG exploration in, but a lot it's like, if you don't have the shooting, what do you have? And it's the same as like Tomb Raider. If you don't have Lara Croft, what are you left with? I'm
going to pull on this.
I don't know. I mean, Deathmatch, we had 5 million guns.
I want to play in a Terminator game.
Terminator.
I could see that.
Terminator world, I bet there is.
Yeah.
Isn't there a Terminator TTRPG?
If there is, great. I don't want to be in modern. I want to be like you are the survivors after Skynet has taken over. And that way it's not like it's all about shooting. It's very much like Blaze in the Dark, where you are sneaking around, hacking into places. You have to go into a room and take things from the Terminators and like walk away.
It looks like there was maybe one, not a current license or whatever. I guess what's the there's an Alien RPG that is really well regarded right now. That same company makes a number of others. It's Free League. Yeah, Free League makes like a Fallout RPG that's like similarly, or no, that's Modiphius, but there's a couple of European publishers mostly that are doing cool stuff with it. And I feel like my only problem with the Terminator RPG is like, I'd want to play as a good Terminator, right?
Then you're like invincible. You're almost like you can't.
And it's like, how is that not an overpowered class option, right, to play as? And then you have a team of 4, and they're like 3 of them are the good Terminator. And then there's like one
there's one human.
There's one John Connor as a boy, and then there's 3 good Terminators. Yeah.
We're moving away from like game licenses and moving into movie licenses,
which
does work.
Yeah.
Honestly, I need to be teaching. I still want to play an Alan Wake or Control. I feel would be the best.
I think like Remedy, they could for sure make a great universe, like shared universe TTRPG. Sorry, Amber, what were you going to say?
No, you're good. I only bring it up because Crash and I like to play this game, and I haven't played it in a long time, but I think Don't Starve would be like an interesting, like, just single player TTRPG.
Oh, like a single player RPG? That might...
you could play it with multiple people, but I'm like, I think if like the environment impacts what you're doing as a player, like in that kind, I think it would be more of like a single player thing.
I feel like that would be
2.
like a card-based system. Like you would have your base and all your equipment set up, and then you flip a card randomly, and it's like, and now a storm comes, and you lose this amount of stuff.
That kind of setup is pretty popular in like the solo tabletop gaming, not role-playing. Like, I've never played Robinson Crusoe, but it's a pretty popular solo game, which is like you're surviving on an island and trying to build up your resources and flipping cards. I feel like a version of that is just Don't Starve, so there's also like Pigmen and whatever else, I think would be a hit for sure.
I played that game way too long. Trust me, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens.
Yeah. I've never played. I just watched a bunch of streams of it.
Well, For all of the TTRPG game developers who are out there going, man, I can't think of my next great idea. There you go.
You need to have money to back it, though.
By the way, Remedy,
just go buy
the people off.
Buy the Mario license. I'm sure that's cheap.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
around,
Nintendo
right?
is totally fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't touch Nintendo
You
or
could
Disney.
make a,
you won't
you
have
could make
enough
a Mario
money.
RPG, but just not call it Mario. You could just call it Super Plumber.
Yeah.
Isn't there like a bad VHS that's like made like that, like after the movie, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna do a knockoff version."
I mean, there was a certain point within the movie industry where, like, whenever there was a big blockbuster that was released, like a week later, there was sort of a knockoff. I think like Transformers came out, and then there was Transmorphers that happened, and there was like Fast and the Furious, and it was like Drive Fast. I remember there was like the new Jurassic Park came out, and me and you, remember, we actually rented out because we.
Oh yeah.
We were doing during the Red Box era, and
we were like, "What stupid movie could we watch?"
We're like, we gotta watch this. I want to see a dinosaur movie. That looks interesting. I guess it's like Jurassic Park, and it's like Jurassic horror or Jurassic.
It didn't have Jurassic. It was like something World, and then like
Dino
before
World.
Jurassic World obviously came out, like probably a decade before. Not dating ourselves, but like it was so bad.
Transmorphers instead of Transformers.
Transmorphers was really good.
Yeah, what is that company called?
Wasn't there like Tremors, and then somebody made something called Sandworms?
Yes.
Yeah. The Asylum movies. Asylum is the studio that makes things for Redbox and whatever to try to trick you into renting. You think it's they made Atlantic Rim.
They did make
Pacific
Sharknado.
Rim was popular. Yeah. A lot of that. I have no respect for the bad on purpose movie genre.
Mike does.
Fun.
I don't.
But
no,
I don't.
We did
I
laugh
don't
a
want
lot.
them to exist, but sometimes there's a thing where you have to step back and go, I understand the hustle. I get what you're doing. Sure. I don't appreciate it. It's like if someone, when you watch, and this is coming from personal experience. I used to be a server, a waiter, and so sometimes you see like one of the newbies come in and they have like every drink on one small tray, and it's like, I get what you're doing, and they drop it. It's like, I get what you're doing. I respect the hustle, but you just did that wrong. You should not do that. Don't do that. There's a movie that they released in 2012 called Two-Headed Shark Attack.
Sorry.
The tagline is one body, two heads, 6,000 teeth.
My dad doesn't watch this, but I'm gonna put my dad on blast. My dad loves stupid movies like that, and I'm like, Dad, I can't.
So there was.
Go ahead.
There was a movie. You knew the movie Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Remember we watched that and it actually wasn't that bad? We watched that with our other friend.
They released in 2012 Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies.
Oh god. Yeah. I was surprised. I thought with such a stupid title it was going to be like horrible, but it actually wasn't that bad. It was not like my top 5 or anything, but it wasn't horrible.
Yeah, I think that was based on a book. I think there was a book.
I think so too.
In that like Pride and Prejudice and zombies era where it was like add zombies to whatever. Yeah, it's not the worst idea in the world.
That was an era. It was
we got into a big tangent. What were we talking about today? Well, thank you so much for joining us. Cancel RPGs, which I think is why we should probably cancel this episode. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Start playing.
Start playing?
Oh my god!
I thought we were going to do deathmatch. No? Huh? I thought we were going to talk about deathmatch.
Deathmatch?
No?
What?
I thought that was in our little itinerary. We're going to have to edit this out.
We have an itinerary?
What's our deathmatch? You said we were going to talk about our experience with deathmatch.
Oh, we were. We should talk about deathmatch.
We're going to cut this somewhere for a future mic.
Guys,
censored sound bleep. And
can I just tell you right now? I am so tired.
It's been a week.
It's been a week.
We keep signing up for more stuff.
Non-stop.
I thought he was ending early because we went overtime because we found out.
Yeah.
No,
I thought he was purposely not.
I'm just so tired. Tomorrow, I'm really excited. I'm actually going to be a guest. By the time this comes out, it'll be old news. But I'm sure I had a great time because it's done in the past. but I'll be a guest star for Grimstone Gaming. I can't wait to play. No, speaking of Grimstone Gaming, we had Michael Ray Williams join us for 3 sessions for Deathmatch Island, the Great Leveler, which obviously, Nick, you're the one who DM'd this, the one who crafted all this together for us.
It was a lot of fun.
It was fun. It was so much fun. And Michael was streaming earlier today, and he was still talking about it. He goes, "Oh man, we should." He goes, "If you ever feel like running it for us on our channel," and I was like, "I don't know what to do. That's a Nick thing."
That's the secret. Is so much of what was in there is in the book. I didn't have to do a lot of prep.
Oh, wow.
Every point on the island has a defined thing you'll find there. It has details to like tell what like sensory details. It's you combine the islands are going to be the same, and they're even the same if we played again and did like another run, you would go to the same nodes and it would be the same contests or the same things. The islands get reset. You would have a different cast. So we talked about it in the after recap a little bit, but there's 4 casts in the book that focus on different things, different aspects of like how people deal with this crazy like violent game show environment. And we went with the weirdest one with superpowers and everything else, but none of the others have anything like that. It's more like one is, I think there's one like alliance that gets run by a police officer, and he like assumes this kind of like tyrannical authority if you let him. And so it's about like the kind of people that sometimes can rise to the top in a violent environment, and how do you interact with that, right? So you guys could go to the same places you went to, go to the quarry again, or you have a showdown when you arrive at the dock and you're going for the barge, but now it's a different set of people with different skills and different motivations that you'd encounter on the island. So like I would say Deathmatch Island is not a difficult game to run. It does not require a lot of prep work. Getting your head around the roles and how that works, I think, is the toughest part.
Yeah.
There's a lot of focus on those individual roles. We have to like go around and talk about what dice we're rolling. I liked that in practice. That's fun and exciting. But like the fact that we do spend 5 to 10 minutes talking about each role rather than in D&D where it's like a 2-second thing.
Right.
You have to change your mindset, but the world building and everything else is all in the book, which is really, really cool.
Oh, there was a question I had, and I'm not sure if that in canon or there was something in your own mind, Nick, that when it was presented, because now that I know that some of the stuff is already sort of generated in a way, but you just have to alter it as DM. What's the deal with the flies?
Oh, yeah.
So that's a great example. If you go to the castle, which is what was her name?
Spoilers.
No, this is not spoilers. This is after. This will be released.
Go watch all the Deathmatch Island stuff first.
Phyllis.
Before this. Yeah.
No,
Phyllis.
not. Oh, yeah. Me or the other old lady?
You did this. You're the one who found the flies.
We can talk about Magda separately because I also think that's interesting. So for Phyllis, if you go to the castle, there's a list of things that you find in there. And like, so I was like narrating and reading them off. Some things I skipped if they didn't feel particularly relevant. Some things I like tweaked. But part of what you're doing in Deathmatch Island is getting followers, and you're gaining followers on your little wrist pad thing. And that does give you enhanced dice and make you better at the game. But there's also the question of like, what are the followers? And at the end of the game, it could have turned out you guys were on TV and you did have social media profiles. Like that all could have been true. But once it was clear that we weren't going to go in that direction, I felt comfortable just using what was in the book, which is, for whatever reason, the number of followers you have is equal to the number of flies in these columns that are swarming around like a name tag of your character. That was in the book. I feel like that's a pretty it's a commentary on that's what you've been. It's supposed to make you question. That's what you've been working so hard to get.
Right.
Is flies swarming on you and your garbage or whatever.
Like no one's watching us. We're just collecting flies.
I thought about breaking the tubes and trying to dump more flies into ours.
Would that work?
But I didn't know if that would work, and I was people were chasing me, so I was like,
yeah, that's the one tricky thing about Deathmatch Island is there's not really rules set up for if you're going to do something extra at a node. Because you did your roll already and to beat the death squad and you got into the castle. So we never did there's not like a search roll or anything else. I probably just would have let you do it. And then I maybe would have decided if it did anything or not. Like
you get 2 extra followers, like 2 flies.
Yeah. But yeah, the fly thing is specifically like that. A lot of the details in there, like there's something that didn't come up in our game, but some of the weird details, if we had went harder into the weird, which is like, you guys are theorizing the island is alive, or you're all clones, or you're dead and like lost.
Why didn't we guess we were all clones? That would have been great.
Yeah. The weird, like for your different theory types, there's things the GM can sprinkle in. And one of them is these weird fluorescent red slugs. And you start noticing them everywhere. And I think that leads you more to like, are we on an alien planet or something weird? Right? The book doesn't say what the slugs mean. But as you play, the players might come up with something, and then the GM might be like, "That's a good idea. That's what they actually are," or whatever, and then you roll with that.
Spoiler, so a lot of that's all GM tips right there. It's just whatever you guys come up with, we just steal.
It's a lot of rich details like that, like the flies. So like Magda, she's on the island. She doesn't wear a uniform. She doesn't have a number. She seems omniscient. On the first island, depending on how it could have gone, there could have been a thing where you would have had to choose if she lived or died in the finale.
Yeah, we could have hit her with the car.
But otherwise, she can't die.
Not spoiler. They could watch it.
Yeah, that's one of the things about. Yeah, that's one of the things about Magda is she can't die. She seems to know everything that's going on and all this other stuff. She has in the book. There's no connection between her and that season 172, the season we don't talk about. That was something. When you guys went to a redacted area, they have a list of possible things like you could encounter advertising or hear, like backstage stuff.
Which is why we saw.
So Pepsi. That was the Pepsi endorsement. That's in the book as like a poster on the wall. So I read the 172 thing. We don't talk about season 172, and you guys really grabbed onto that.
We did.
So then I started like, okay, so what was 172, and like. That plus Magda became a thing, right? And then you guys talked to her again and found that out. So Deathmatch Island, the book, has a lot of stuff like that, where it's like rich details, and you as a GM just be comfortable seeing what your players grab onto and the connections they make, and then decide, is that right or is that wrong in an interesting way that's going to be revealed later. Right?
That's cool.
Could you imagine if we had hit her with the car, then her ass got back up, and we would have been like,
she would have came back in the second island, because we would have seen her body in the second island.
That's exactly what I would have done. Yeah, she would have been dead, and then she would have shown up in the second island in the caves. That is 100% what I would.
Would she remember?
She drank the Pepsi.
I guess that'd be up to you, like story wise. Like, was she a cloned or something?
I think she one of the things I had written that didn't really come up is she has been on the island for obviously a long time. And she's gained a lot of these weird supernatural abilities. But like your characters had a lot of missing holes in your memory.
Yeah.
I don't think Magda remembers anything about her life before the islands. And I don't think she would necessarily remember if she had died a bunch of times.
That sucks.
That's so
I guess that's like a good thing for her and a bad thing, because it's like at least you don't remember dying that many times.
It's a bad
thing if you no. I think you'd want to know if you died like 100 times or not.
Do you?
I don't know. I think it's more disturbing not to know.
You guys watch Invincible? That's the thing in Invincible. The character that what's her name? A duplicate.
Yeah.
She can make duplicates, but she feels every single time one of them dies, and it really messes
I didn't say
with her.
feel, I said no. I want to feel every time.
All right. Any other questions about Deathmatch Island while we're here? And we can...
Yeah.
I was just laughing because Mike was like, I'm going to ask Nick about those flies.
So I wanted to ask. So I think maybe the perfect environment for Deathmatch Island, the ideal environment would be a group that plays regularly and knows that they're probably going to play several times. Mm-hmm. And the first time through, they don't break the game. They do, like somebody does kill their friends and becomes the winner of the game and maybe gets a chance to go back in a future season and decide to break the game.
Yeah.
You guys went really hard into the redacted areas right away. And so you got a lot of information. I think for a one shot, if we never played again, I think the way we did it was perfect. Like you found out the secrets, you broke the game, you refused to kill one another. But I think like the game is set up, I think the book is set up to like what we did worked perfectly. But I think it's like the first time through, you feel like you can't escape. And it only occurs to you the second time through that you can break the game. But there is always that prisoner's dilemma showdown where all the players have to secretly decide if they're going to break the game or play to win. And then if you're one of the ones that play to win, you get a big advantage. If not everybody does that.
Yeah. I want to say that if we ever do this again, I don't think we could play the same characters. I think we'd have to be new people who probably have the mentality of, I want to win. And I think that would have to be an aspect.
I think we all wanted to win. I think we were all just like,
no, individually.
Fuck this.
I think individually, if we did it again, we would have to play new characters who had that drive to win.
Yeah, because we talked about it. It was kind of a random thing, but none of you had a like loved one that you were fighting to get back to. Yeah. That was not
one of us did.
String. I mean, yeah, but I don't think Sarah counts because she was
she's also dead,
and she got kidnapped anyway. He didn't stop that, but like I didn't have that string to pull on, or I would have hit that over and over and over again. Like every time, it's like, are you willing to kill if it means to get back to your husband or children or whatever, right? But none of you really had that in your. You were all lone wolves, yeah.
I regret because there was in the drafting phase for Austin, I was going to make that him and Sarah had like a kid and he doesn't have visit because I wanted to make him so pathetic. So I was going to put like he had very little visitation rights. And he's like, Sarah doesn't love me. She's going to take me back and I'm going to be with my son. And that would have been I regret it now because that would have been a great way for you to pull and tug on me. I would have definitely killed.
Yeah. I mean, you did some. You all did some hardcore stuff when it came down to it, right? You killed the dude in the dance hall. You didn't have to do that. But Austin did kill that guy.
He was going to come back.
I think he did have it coming. For a one shot, I think getting to see all the behind the scenes break the game stuff, it would suck if we didn't get to have that on camera.
Yeah.
Like, so if we're only going to play once, I think that is the way to do it, is break the game and see the behind the scenes or whatever. And you guys totally earned it. It was totally like what your characters would have done based on the information they got. And you made really hard rolls at the end. And somehow, like, I didn't get to kill anybody, which I was like really ready to do.
There was some sweat. Like I remember near the end of the game, I was sweating. There were when we stopped recording, we stopped the cameras. I stood up and was like, ugh, because there was moments where like you're collecting die. Like I'm using I have actually all the die I was using for the game. Like I was like, okay, a D6 for this. Okay, then I got a D thing for this. I got a D10 for that. And I was like, I had like maybe 6 die set up, and I was like, surely one of these is gonna be good. And the moment you start racking up and you start spending out stress and you start spending like all these features, you really start to get like better and better chances. And there were moments where like I was like, I got a 7, fuck yes, I got a 10 on a D10.
Yeah.
But no, I would really love to play Deathmatch Island again. I think it's really, really fun. And I'll be fully honest, when this was pitched, and I was like, yeah, sure, we'll give it a shot. When you first sent the character creation screen, like that page, I was like, I don't know about this. I don't know if this is gonna be too chunky. I don't know anything about it. Is this gonna be good? And then you go online, and it gets very little attention. And I'm like, well, I can't even see if it's accurately being played right now. And I know the way that we handle production, there's a lot more role play. There's a lot more kind of like, it's all for the show. Like there's a lot more effort to make it entertaining and have it sort of like a lot of people bouncing off each other. And then you bring us a scenario that makes us do a lot more stupid shit, which is sort of the goal for our production. But then I'm watching all these other things, and it's very of by the books to show you how it's run. and less of like being entertained by it. And so I was like, I was not sure about this game, but by first session I was like, fuck yeah, this is great.
Yeah, it's the book is really cool. The page through the book, like the aesthetics of it are really cool, but until you've like experienced it, it can be hard to wrap your mind around how it works. Because I think it is significantly different than like, I think D&D and Blades in the Dark have way more in common than either one of those do with Deathmatch Island.
Yeah.
Right. It's a very different. It's doing a specific thing in a specific way. And, you know, and like we talked about, like, if you're going searching for secrets or other stuff, there's a lot of stuff the system just doesn't really do because that's not what it's set up to do. Right. But the stuff it does and like the way it's, you know, the game that we're all agreeing to play, it executes really, really well.
Honestly, if I had to change the game in any certain way, I would hide the labels. Mm-hmm. And I would also hide the icons from the player's view of like where, like if you go to this direction, what is that? If you go to this direction, what's that?
Yeah.
Because I think on paper, let's be honest, like Amber, you can even be honest too. The moment we saw restricted or redacted, we're like, we're going there, right? We absolutely like, and
I think we said it in game or like at a break or something, and we were like, you picked 3 people that were like, ooh, what's under there?
But if you were to hide that, if you were to show like you can take the left route, the middle route, or the right route, you could then reveal where you're going. Because even like if you just say like you just have the map, and there just are paths.
I think I get why they do that, though, because it's supposed to be like a competition-oriented thing. Like, there's supposed to be some structure to it. It's not like you roll a perception check and like, oh, fuck, there's a bear over there now that you didn't see coming.
Yeah, but if you remove the basically like future thought, if you were able to see like where you were going, it would feel I think it would be more, might be more inclined to go through harder challenges, or we would be more inclined to like, maybe we might want to backstab each other because maybe someone does a bad on a roll. We don't know.
Yeah. Like instead of like you saw what it was and what types, like you see a blinking light in one direction or like whitewater rapids in the other, which way do you go? Yeah. I think the game would have gone completely differently if you had gone to that first redacted place, the bunker, where you guys like took off clothes for some reason and then got shot by paintball
for some reason. There's a good reason.
It worked. The cameras didn't want to focus on you, right?
They keep heartbeat on
you guys like thing. The thing is, redacted places are the hardest and the most dangerous. And you guys got very lucky on succeeding in that first one, and then had advantages that you successfully snowballed. If you had gone there and gotten your asses kicked and walked away injured with nothing, I don't think you would have been so inclined to do more redacted stuff in the future.
That is true.
Right? It's one of those things where like we talk about what is it? Like we talk about how so Earth is so perfectly made for for life, isn't it miraculous? Well, it's like, yeah, but that's because we're here to be alive to think that. Right? It's not like a coincidence or whatever. It's like we're here to think that. And it's like the experience you guys had with the game was informed by being really successful at redacted things.
We're like, man,
and knowing you could peek behind the scenes.
We can win at redacted, no problem.
Yeah, I don't know about no
and
problem.
Getting better weapons, better.
I think
gear.
we hesitated when you were like, "There's cameras and there's the door, and you may get shot," and we were like, "Okay."
Yeah. No, it was a crew of 3 people that were willing to risk it all because they didn't have like a loved one back home that they were aware of, that they were fighting to get back to. And it was a combination of luck and skill and successfully like rolling forward with the advantages and information you got. And it like, that's what the season ended up being. And it was very fun.
I just laughed what we rolled. Like, I didn't see freaking sandwich artist and pro wrestler coming out of that.
That was really fun. Like, to find out at the end, to have that uncovered was great.
Because Mike's like, what did you do for this character? And I was like, well, she's got to be fucking chaotic. Because I was like, who the hell does a sandwich artist for a living? It's not somebody that's in a suit that's like, this is my day-to-day routine.
Well,
it's like, no, I'm just chaotic.
We talked about proto characters. Like I was about to be what is it, like a Boy Scout or like one of the camp counselors or whatever they're called. Like I was about to be like a leader, like, Boy Scout leader. And that was the original idea because I was like, a nature guide, Boy Scout, let's go. But it turned into a really sad character.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I think honestly that's where to call today's Above Table. Thank you so much for joining us. Checking us out next time. Maybe our scheduling is weird now that we're getting further into this sort of new phase of Arcane Focus.
Eventually, in the next Above Table.
Yeah, there might be a skip. I'm trying to remember. Regardless, we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.